was a sannyasi, was not supposed to dance and sing, but was supposed to study, be very austere, and study especially Vedanta Sutra, which nobody can understand anyway. So it was very dry. So Lord Chaitanya was always dancing and singing in association with devotees. So he was cornered. Why are you doing like this? What's going on here? It doesn't seem to be bona fide. Because actually Lord Chaitanya started a new sampradaya. Just like they tried to say, all these Rath-yatras all over the world at different times of the year. This is not bona fide. Anyway, Lord Chaitanya, his reply is very significant. Where's everybody? We don't have anyone here? Go on, go! Let's start the program. All out on books is hey, it's gone out now.
You blew it up, Mark.
I blew it up. Hare Krishna. Does this work again? So Lord Chaitanya had to reply to these criticisms, and he said, he told the story of how he met his spiritual master, and his spiritual master told him that you're a fool. Murkha to me, you're a fool. You shouldn't sit and study Vedanta and be a big pandit, big scholar. And then he told him, Harinama, Harinama, Harinama Kevalam. Hello, Nasyeva, Nasyeva, Nasyeva. Chant the holy name, chant the holy name, chant the holy name. There's no other way, there's no other way, there's no other way in this age of Kali. And so he also gave him some other verses about the holy name. And so he went off and he started chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And what happened then?
He went mad.
Yeah. So what's going on? I'm feeling lightheaded and dancing and singing like a madman. And I think there's something in this mantra which is causing me some madness. So he went to his spiritual master Ishwara Puri and he said to him, what kind of mantra have you given me? I'm dancing and singing, I think I'm going mad. So Ishwara Puri replied, Evam Vatasva Priyanama Kicha Chatanaro Rojati Chuchai Asachiti Rojati Rauti Gayati Unmadavana Chiti Lokapaya. He quoted from the Bhagavatam. So this is actually normal for someone who's actually advanced in spiritual life. He takes pleasure in chanting the holy name. It's very dear to him. He's agitated. He loudly chants the holy name. He also laughs. He cries, becomes agitated, chants like a madman, not caring for outsiders. And then his spiritual master said, actually, I'm very pleased with you because you actually developed love of Krishna, which is what a spiritual master wants. So then Lord Chaitanya replied to the criticizing sannyasis in Varanasi. He said a verse which is very important. And Prabhupada often emphasizes this point for us devotees. He said, Etanravake ame drida vishvastori nirantara Krishna nam sankirtana kari Shri Krishna nam kabu kawayaya nachaya gatina chinai ame apana echaya. I firmly believe in these words of my spiritual master, and therefore I always chant the holy name of the Lord alone and in the association of devotees. The holy name of Lord Krishna sometimes causes me to chant and dance, and therefore I chant and dance. Please do not think that I intentionally do it. I do it automatically. So Prabhupada writes, a person who cannot keep his faith in the words of his spiritual master but acts independently never receives the authority to chant the holy name of the Lord. It is said in the Vedas, Svetasvatara Upanishad 6.23, Yasya deve para bhakti yata deve tata guru tasyaite katita yata prakashante mahatmana. Only unto those great souls who have implicit faith in both the Lord and the spiritual master all the imports of the Vedic knowledge automatically revealed. This Vedic injunction is very important, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu supported it by his personal behavior. Now Prabhupada writes about himself. Believing in the words of his spiritual master, he introduced the Sankirtan movement, just as the present Krishna consciousness movement was started with belief in the words of our spiritual master. We wanted to preach. We believed in his words and tried somehow or other to fulfill them. And now this movement has become successful all over the world. Therefore, faith in the words of the spiritual master and the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the what? Something of something.
That's also spiritual.
No. Something begins with S, and of begins with O, and S begins with S. Secret of success. So, it so happened that Prabhupada was at Radhakund, and he was a young married man. He had his young son Vrindavan with him, and he was walking with his spiritual master Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati at Radhakund because there was some parikrama or there was something going on. So his spiritual master Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was very disturbed because they'd got some big temple donated in Calcutta, which was worth millions, in a beautiful marble temple. Now, the members of his mat, of his institution, were tending to quarrel amongst themselves. I want this room, I want that room. And it was Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati could sense that this institutionalization was breaking things up, and he could foresee the future. He said, Agosh Valbi, there will be fire in my institution. There will be fire. He could see that his disciples were really not so much into the preaching, but more into grabbing what they could for themselves. Then, of course, this is what he said anyway. Agosh Valbi, there will be fire. And then they were walking and walking, and then he turned to Prabhupada. No, it wasn't Prabhupada then. He was Abhay Charan, Abhay Chanaravinda. He was an initiated disciple, Abhay Chanaravinda. One who is fearless at the lotus feet of the Lord. So he was a married man. But he turned to him and said, if ever you get money,
Print books!
print books! Yes. And Prabhupada said that those words, they sank into him, because he was a businessman. Prabhupada was a businessman. And he could also see that his Guru Maharaj's institution was shaking. His spiritual master was confiding in him and saying, this is the problem, they're going to fight. My disciples are going to fight. He wasn't living in the institution, Prabhupada, he was living outside, he had his own business, his own family. But Prabhupada knew that he was a very confidential devotee, because he was writing, and his spiritual master loved what he was writing. He was writing in English, and so on. And he could recognize his disciple as very advanced Vaishnava devotee. So he gave him this confidential instruction. If ever you get money, print books. So Prabhupada, he took this, went into his heart, he thought, this is the formula. This is the formula. I have to write books in English. And then he got a couple of other letters, few other letters from his Guru Maharaj, repeating the same thing.